I'm American, arrogant, throwing fits, ripping shit, tearing it, imperative. Then I'm killing this mic no matter where I live. These derelict rappers acting a fool, this embarrassing is flagrant. That's the nature of this entertainment, and we can't even change it. Guilty before arraignment, now the system tainted. But when we speak, they all laugh at us, and y'all wonder why I'm lacking trust. Try to fight a giant with attorneys that can back them up. That's church versus science, both sides start acting up. I'm late on my assignment, hopping up a mile high, climbing, obviously never silent. New alignment, I'm defiant, cannot describe it. Used to describe it as a young graffiti artist. Before the beard, I always got carded. At every bar, even though my bar has been the hardest. The scars on my face said I ain't always been the smartest, but I'll show you where my heart is. I said I'll show you where my heart is. I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeves, even if the beat stops my soul.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tuesday has arrived. A little sports nonsense and whiskey with the fellas. Pinky, I like that pinky out there. Good sir, how we doing this evening? As you can see, we are one short. Not feeling so hot. Robert's going to take the evening off. We got you, buddy. Rest up, relax. You got a big week coming up next week anyways, so no need to come down with something and ruin that. Pinky, how we doing, my guy?
Oh, buddy, I'm ready to rock and roll. We had the sports equinox last night. Crazy. God, they only get it once or twice a year, and it did not disappoint.
Oh, no, it did not. No, it did not. For those that don't know, sports equinox, 4 majors, all same night. It's a beautiful thing. NBA was. We'll talk a little NBA later. There's some craziness going on already early in the season. NHL is the NHL, although this early season has some intensity that doesn't seem normal for regular season hockey, which is a little odd. Not just me, right? Like you're feeling that too. Kind of unique for some reason. So that's always nice. Football, Monday night, come on. You can't get better than Monday Night Football, as we all know. And then you've got what turned into arguably the best World Series game of all time. We'll discuss that ever so slightly.
I don't know about that.
I'm just saying, it's pretty crazy. You didn't even watch it. You're going to say, I don't know about that. You didn't even watch it.
Somebody's got to play devil advocate. Somebody can't always let you live in the moment.
Dude, the drama through 12 was absurd. We'll get there. Fight went down this weekend. That was bonkers. There's no justification for what happened in the UFC heavyweight match for the championship. We'll discuss. What am I missing, Pinky? I feel like we got a big rundown tonight. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that went down from the last time we got to speak to the people.
There's a lot of things going down. So we're gonna get rolling here.
F1.
F1.
Yep. The grid is just absurd right now. We'll discuss ever so slightly. There's a lot.
So yes, there is. All right, let's start with the NFL. And I gotta ask you, who is the top team in the NFL? There's some debates going on right now. We're 8 games in for some teams that haven't had their bye yet. 8 games in. Who is the best team in the league, Caleb?
I don't think there is one right now. I truly don't. Now, I will say, and Pinky, earmuffs, I apologize. I will say, the way Kansas City is going right now, they are trending in that direction. But as of this moment, I will say there's nobody. And I could probably give you about 5 or 6 teams in the NFC that I say are all neck and neck. And I think maybe 3 teams in the AFC. Maybe you can get to 4. AFC seems a little thinner than we had thought it was going to be to start the season. But I think I could get maybe 4, probably. So, it's hard to say, Pinky, if I'm being perfectly honest. I mean, in the NFC, I would look at Green Bay. I would look at the Eagles. I would look at the Rams. I would look at the Bucks. I would look at Seattle. I I feel like I'm probably leaving somebody out. But those 5 for sure I would look at in the NFC as all being fairly neck and neck. I will say if Green Bay's defense starts showing up more like, Detroit, Detroit. So there's 6 teams in the NFC. I will say if Green Bay's defense starts showing up week in and week out like it did last night, that team could get very dangerous. Detroit's going to be right there in the same division, though. That defense is playing really well as well if it's staying healthy the way it is. Hutchinson's only going to get better as the season progresses. So dangerous, but 6 teams in the NFC. The AFC, I'd probably be looking at Kansas City, Denver. I'm going to give Indianapolis their due. I don't care what anybody says about their schedule or whatnot. They're boat racing people. It's not like they're just barely winning these games. They're putting the whooping on these people and telling them to go home. I'm keeping the ball. You go home. So Denver, Kansas City, Indy, and I would actually probably throw New England in there. The way they're playing right now. Drake May is playing really good football. The Chargers, I just don't think they're going to get healthy enough in time. It's potentially there as well. But they're kind of on the outsides looking in right now, especially the way that offensive line has been playing as of recent, unfortunately. Getting Alt back could be huge going forward, but I don't know. I don't know about the Chargers quite yet. Am I missing anybody on the AFC side that you would throw in there?
I mean, you got to have Buffalo in there.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, my gosh. So 2 obvious ones I forget, Detroit and Buffalo. Yes, guys, I'm not trying to do this. I apologize. Yes, those are obvious as well. So you're looking at 6 teams on the NFC side and 5 teams on the AFC side that are all neck and neck. And if you put them all together, I'd say there's 11 teams there. Pick one.
So
on any given day, I don't say one's better than the other at this point in time.
I was chatting with a lady at work. She talks ball. She's awesome. She's a Packers fan. And we were talking, and she was just like, who's the best team? And I was like, I feel like all the teams have flaws. So it's like I don't know who's like that dominant team. I mean, well, we can go into this conversation next, but the argument is Indy the best team? They've got the best record at the moment. They're 7-1. They have boat raced the teams they should boat race. They do play in the AFC South, so I know that opponents, their strength of schedule is a little weak.
I think if I remember right, they beat the Titans twice, they beat the Dolphins, they beat the Raiders, and then they beat the Broncos and somebody else. And then you could look at it as, well, they shouldn't have won the Broncos game. Okay, fine. But then the game they lost to the Rams, you could argue that they shouldn't have lost that game.
They shouldn't have lost that game.
So they'd still have the same record, and that means they would have beat the Rams, who we think are one of the best 11 teams right there with them. So people saying that they're not there, like, if you play the Rams close, I would say you're right in position to do whatever you need to do throughout the season.
I mean, there's just no way anybody in the South takes that division from them at this point.
No, not at this point. No way.
And as long as Jonathan Taylor is healthy, they're gonna roll through the AFC South. But yeah, we had them at a really bad record.
1-16.
Yeah. Now again, I think we still had. I don't think. Was Danny Dimes named the starter at that point? I don't remember if he had been named the starter yet.
Yeah, I believe he was, but we also didn't think – we thought it was like fool's gold, and they'd eventually bring back Anthony Richardson because of the pick and everything that went into it, and Danny Dimes wouldn't play out of his mind to an extent that it would – but, I mean, we had him losing to Miami and Denver weeks 1 and 2, and then beating Tennessee, losing to the Rams, losing to the Raiders, losing to the Cardinals, losing to the Chargers – losing to Tennessee.
They did. Did they lose to the? No, they beat the Chargers. Did they lose to the Cardinals?
The Rams.
Oh, the Rams. Okay.
Rams. So they've got Pittsburgh next. That's going to be a nice little.
Pittsburgh. They're going to roll Pittsburgh.
Well, then if they do that, well, Pittsburgh is kind of on the downslide right now. People still consider them a good team. So if they roll Pittsburgh, people should be. Starting to wake up a little bit. You and I both think Indy's a really good team. Well, now you're coming around a little bit more than I've had to, because I talked about. I didn't think Danny Dimes was going to be able to figure it out at this point. I've had faith in him in the past. I kind of lost it. That's on me. My bad. But I did tell people they've got weapons. I said they've got a lot of weapons. It's just whether or not they're going to be able to get the ball to them. Turns out they're getting the ball to them. So it helps when your running game's rolling. Pinky and I are both one of the few things that we agree on without hesitation, and we're in lockstep on is trenches, building on the offensive and defensive lines, and running the ball, control possession, and then that opens up the run game to take just shot after shot whenever you want to. So that's what Indy's doing. And again, Jonathan Taylor, we talked about in the offseason, he's had a couple down years or so on. Still one of the best backs in the league, and he's showing you that. Michael Pittman was drafted to be a number 1 receiver. Is he one of the top 10 or 12? You can argue how you want to, but he's playing like a number 1 receiver. That's all that matters. They've got some other guys below him that can fill in the 2, 3, 4, 5 slots. They've got Tyler Warren, who's looking like one of the 5 best tight ends in the league right now as a rookie. And then you put that offensive line out there, led by Quentin Nelson, who I remember when the Broncos, what was it, like the 6th overall pick, and people were like, you can't draft a guard that early. And I remember saying, if the guard's going to be Hall of Fame, yes, you can. And that's what everybody was projecting Quentin Nelson to be, and that's what he's lived up to. And that line is playing really solid football. So all Danny Dimes has to do is be a game manager. Which, another thing, surprisingly, Pinky and I agree about, is not a negative term. It means you're being a point guard on the field. You're calling, the plays are being called, and you're getting the ball to who needs to have the ball when they're supposed to have it, and your team is progressing down the field to score points. When did that become a bad thing?
Now, Indy's only played one team that plays the run fairly well, and that's Denver, which is why that was a pretty close game. The Rams can play the run pretty good too from time to time.
Rams might be the best defense in the league. I think you can make an argument for that, whether you agree with it or not. I think it's one you'd have to listen to. That defensive line is stout.
It's tough. So I still think they're in a position where if you can stop Jonathan Taylor, you're in really good position to beat the Colts. But
it would be interesting to see what happens if you have to load up the box to solely stop that run game. What I shouldn't say Danny Dimes anymore. What Indiana Jones can do with what I just said were weapons. That would be interesting.
We'll see. I know they've got some tough games coming up, but they haven't played any tough games yet. So we'll see.
Well, I would say they've played 2 and arguably 3 with the Chargers. So, yes, they have a bit of a cupcake when you talk about Miami, Tennessee twice, and the Las Vegas Raiders. They got a couple games there, though, that you're like, all right, those are people want to say that those are guys fighting for playoff spots, then you got to say they're legit teams and wins. I feel like people are being a little bit hypocritical with Indy right now, and I think it's a little bit unfair. Again, they are boat racing people. They're not just barely. They are. What was the stat I heard? They are averaging more points per possession. I think it was they're averaging more points per possession than any team this century. Now think about that. Any team this century. That's the 15 Broncos, not the 15, the 13 Broncos. That's any of the Kansas City teams. The 07 Patriots. That's wild. Regardless of schedule, right? All that means is you're doing exactly what should be expected of you if you're a really good team, right? You're destroying the bad teams. If you weren't a really good team, you would be floundering in those games, maybe barely winning them kind of thing. That's how I would look at it. So you can only play who's on your schedule, and when you're beating the you-know-what out of those people, I think it's what's that? Is that the Family Guy episode where they're just beating the dead horse or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, stop! It's over! Stop!" That's what Indy's doing to their opponents every week right now. So again, Pittsburgh coming up, that's going to be a good test for them. There's quite a few storylines around the league when we talk about these 11 teams, Pinky. I mean, does Philly need drama to survive? And A.J. Brown drew the short straw again this year, and he's like, God, guys, I don't have another book I'm reading. They're like, figure it out. Okay? Just figure something out. We need something. He's like, all right, I'll do poetry. I'll do deep meditation Twitter. I don't know. Like, but they're winning. And again, every time somebody's like, oh, they can't throw the ball, they're like, okay. Oh, by the way, we're down our number one, who might be the best receiver in the league. We're going to let our other number one, who is a Heisman winner and arguably the best wide receiver season in the history of college football, we're going to let him go ahead and take over this week. And then we're going to throw for over 300 yards, and we're going to rush for a bunch. And we're going to, do you guys still think we're struggling? Like, so I don't know. I don't know what to think of Philly. Like, if they don't have drama, is that the problem? And then they could be vulnerable. So they've got to have the drama to move forward. A.J. Brown's not getting traded. Let's be honest. There's no way. There's no way. Unless somehow, our boy Howie got back, like Amos St. Brown or Jay Jetta. Like, that's the only reason he would trade arguably the best receiver, is if he got back what he thought was even a better receiver, right?
Right.
That's the way he operates.
Right.
You look at the Rams. I just said, like, maybe the best defense in the league. That offense might be the best offense in the league, but boy, are they inconsistent for some reason. Like, they just don't seem to be like foot on the gas at all times. So I don't know what's truly making them week in and week out if they have to play the best competition. But talent's there. There's no doubt about it. And we talked about that. If Matthew Stafford's healthy, we had them as a Super Bowl contender. We didn't know if he'd stay healthy based on all that preseason back stuff. And backs we don't play with. We don't play with backs. We're old men. We understand what backs do. Seattle, same division. Sam Darnold, JSN. That defense only seems to be getting better. That running game's now a two-headed monster. They got two tight ends maybe that seem to be all of a sudden coming along in Barner and Arroyo. Cooper Kupp's still there. Solid vet that's going to get you possessions when you need it. They're dangerous, and they seem to only be getting better. Is that fool's gold? I don't know. We like them. But is that even more reason for people to jump ship now? Because we like them?
I mean, I am worried. The thing for the Seahawks, and again, going to a Seahawks game next weekend, I'm worried about just like if someone can cover JSN, now what? So
yeah, I agree. They don't, but is that when Cooper Kupp steps up and reminds everybody, like, yo, I can still play. Okay? Like, we're good. He's had a pretty solid year, actually, under the radar as a number 2. JSN's just been balling out so much that you kind of forget they have any other receivers, which is wild. Side note, wide receiver Ohio State, LSU, serious debate, like crazy. The way those dudes are playing in the league right now. I don't know, Pinky. Again, like, this all goes back to your very original question: who's the best team in the league? I think I'm fair in saying all 11 teams throw a coin. If you're gonna put force me to make a pick, I think I'd have to go with the team that I said would have arguably the MVP and win the North, which is the Packers. So, like, that would be, if I had to tip the scale, even if it's 50.1%, I think I'd have to lean towards Green Bay. But I really do like all 11 teams, and I think I can make a very legit argument for why each one of those 11 is the front runner right now.
Right. Totally could do that. Everybody's got flaws. That's the thing. Everybody's got flaws. And that's why it's so tough to be like, Buffalo, they should be the top team, but their defense is ravaged. The Lions defense has some injuries as well that causes some issues when they play against certain teams. The Packers are inconsistent on offense, right? I think it still comes back to like not having that alpha, that wide receiver, right? The Bucs, offensive injuries, man, like they are just ravaged on their everywhere.
Evans is out at least 6 weeks now. I mean, probably maybe the season.
Playoffs at best, I think. Collarbone.
Yeah.
Godwin's still not back. Bucky's not back. Like they're hurting. Then you got Seattle. Again, I feel like they just like JSN is like their guy. If you shut them down, they're a team that you can stop. You got the Broncos. Offensive play calling. They can score 30 in a quarter and then like score 13 against the Jets. Like, so like who are they? Right?
Well, let's be honest, even that defense up until the last couple of weeks has looked very suspect at best.
They've had moments.
And then, they start playing up a little bit these last couple of weeks. Side note, fun stat I saw, I believe it's 50 plus right now. They've got 50 plus sacks, and they've allowed 8.
Who?
The Broncos.
No, we haven't. We don't have 50 sacks yet.
Then it's 40 plus. It's something ridiculous. It's never happened in the first 8 games of a season. And
I think the Broncos are right about 40 sacks.
Okay, so it's 40 plus and under 10. It's the biggest differential. Sacks had by the defense against sacks allowed by the offense. It's like the biggest differential in league history. They're
the first team in NFL history to eclipse 35 sacks within the first 8 games.
Okay.
While allowing fewer than 10.
35. I apologize. I jumped way over 50. I'm grabbing at numbers, but still. Pretty wild that they can have that, and then you sit here and talk about their issue is being inconsistent. Like, ugh. Well, they've got some numbers there that say if they figure it out, it could be dangerous, right? But again,
absolutely,
you're talking about flaws, and that's the thing. That's the thing. And sometimes those flaws don't get corrected during the course of a season. Let me ask you this, Pinky. Which one of these teams, or which team or teams, if you need to pick a couple, would you say are most likely to make a move at the deadline and go get what they need? And what would that need be? And what do you think they might go obtain where?
Well, if I'm Buffalo, I'm calling anybody for a D tackle because Ed Oliver just tore his biceps, I think. And their D line is not great without Ed Oliver.
No,
so
it is not.
They need that help. So if I'm Buffalo, I'm trying to find a team that's willing.
Are they looking for a wide receiver 1 again?
I would. I feel like again they're like the Packers. Although I don't even think they've got the Packers talent at wide receiver. They've got less than that.
Yeah.
And they need an alpha. They need a guy that no matter what, on third down, Josh Allen can go, I'm going to throw to this guy because he will be open without a doubt. And they don't have it with Keon Coleman. They don't have it with Khalil Shakir. Somehow they forget to use Dalton Kincaid.
Is he a bust at this point?
Keon Coleman is not living up to his potential. I don't know if I'd call it a bust yet, but it's not looking good.
What about Kincaid?
When they throw him, when Josh Allen throws the ball to him, it's fine. But Josh is always looking deeper. Josh doesn't always take what's there. He's looking for the big play. And sometimes the tight end's not the big play. The tight end's the guy 7 yards in front of you that if you hit, he gets 7 yards or he gets a first down. Like, he's not going for 30, but he's consistent. Josh is not taking what the defense is giving him sometimes. He's trying to make that big play.
Right.
And I think that hurts them.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting second half here. And then you got teams on the outside looking in, like Baltimore is still projected to win the AFC North. And they're 2-5 right now.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
I mean, I could see it happening. They got to go on a run, but the talent is there with Lamar Jackson healthy to do it. The defense might be the worst in the league. That's a problem. But I don't know, man. This has been, what did Robert say last week? Nothing makes sense. Like the whole season, the whole NFL, nothing makes sense. Like, yeah, it's been a wild ride.
That's absolutely true. Nothing makes sense. So talking about one of the other conversations that I think needs to be had. Is Jonathan Taylor not the MVP as it stands today?
Man, I struggle with this so much. Is he the best player on that team? Yeah, probably. Is he the MVP of the league? I struggle with that only because Daniel Jones still has to do more than him. Even if you don't think Daniel Jones is playing at an MVP level, he is still the quarterback. So he still has to decide where the ball goes. He's still making checks and play calls at the line of scrimmage. He's still the leader of that team. So unless Jonathan Taylor does something that's never been done before to separate himself into a level at which an MVP would be, I struggle to say that he is. Now, that all being said, on the other side of the same coin, I would sit here and tell you, why isn't he?
I think
He's as
he is.
valuable as anybody in the league. The way he runs the ball, the holes he's able to hit, his blocking in the pass game, he does catch the ball in the backfield. He's absolutely an MVP caliber player. So, sad, Pinky. Usually I'm very decisive, and I'll give you a very straightforward, direct answer and my thoughts and opinions. For the second question in a row you've asked me, I feel like there's about a couple handful of guys right now who I could say are all equal in the MVP category because nobody's truly separating themselves. The problem I have with Jonathan Taylor right now is he's a running back. And so I hate that the MVP is a quarterback conversation, basically. But based on what quarterbacks do in the league these days, it would be very hard to say they're not the MVP and the most valuable player of any team or the league. So I go back and forth with this a lot. Is Jonathan Taylor very much in the conversation right now, like Saquon was last year? Absolutely.
Jonathan Taylor is the MVP right now.
Okay.
If you remove him from the Colts, I do not think they're 7-1. I don't know if they're batting 300 or 500 at this point. Like, he is the key to that. He's the key to them boat racing teams because they're putting on his back. That dude has 850 yards rushing.
He's really good.
12 touchdowns, 206 yards receiving, and an extra 2 touchdowns there. He's already at 1,000 total yards, 14 touchdowns, and it's week 8. Like, the only way he doesn't hit 20 touchdowns this season is he gets hurt. That's the only way it doesn't happen. He's the MVP as it stands right now. Now, I had Saquon as the MVP last year.
You did.
Because I thought what Saquon was doing was above what Lamar and what Josh were doing. And again, at the end of the day, to me, it's not a quarterback award. It's the best player. If you took Saquon off the Eagles, they are not winning the Super Bowl, and they may not make the playoffs. That's how bad they were on offense last season when he was not productive. The games, and they won like 10 straight games because in the fourth quarter, you could give him the ball and he would make it happen. That's MVP. And again, you take them off that squad, they're going to look really ugly. So Jonathan Taylor for me is the MVP. Dak probably took a step back this week. Baker took a step back. Danny Dimes is Indiana Jones, I guess, is in the conversation. I think rightfully so. Drake May is entering that conversation.
Matt Stafford should be in that conversation now.
Stafford's in that conversation. I think that kind of leads us into that second NFL topic we wanted to talk into. The sophomore quarterbacks. You know, we're almost halfway through the season. Is it time to evaluate who the top sophomore quarterbacks are from last season or last year's draft?
I think it's still too early to say which one is the best.
I know who I'm taking number 1 right now. If I was drafting number 1 last year, who I would take.
Would you take Drake May or Bo Nix?
I'd take Drake May.
He is playing really good football.
And I believe, and I love me some Bo Nix, but Drake May is balling, and he's got all the tools and all the draft criticism before he got drafted. I'm not seeing any of that in his game. Like all the knocks they had against him, I'm like going back and I'm like, nope, I don't see that. Nope, I don't see that. Like,
I was not correct on him. I mean, I don't think my final evaluation is I just can't figure out Drake May. So I don't know if he's going to be good or bad, but like I should have seen it. I needed to watch a little bit more because he is playing. He's doing things right now that Brady never did. Like, let's just put that into perspective. Wearing the same uniform for the same organization, he's doing things that the GOAT never did.
it's crazy, man. It is crazy.
So, and it's his second year. It's his second year. We're halfway through the second year.
And we saw all of those flashes last season with like zero offensive talent.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
He was in most games. He'd go out there. You'd watch him play, and you'd be like, "Oh, damn, that kid's got it." It's not showing up on the scoreboard, and it's not showing up in the win column, but it was evident to see from the eye. The eye
I
test
would love to
says
know
that
what's
kid can
going on
ball.
with that run game. If they could get that run game figured out, like why Henderson doesn't get like any touches and Stevenson continues to get the bulk of the carries is surprising to me. Stevenson obviously hasn't cured his fumble woes. Still a big issue with him holding onto the ball. Henderson fumbled for the first time since he was like a junior in high school or something stupid like that this last weekend. They need to get just one dude. If it's gonna be Stevenson, then just let him be the guy, and let those guys start getting some touches and rolling. Because if that run game stays what feels inconsistent, I think that's going to be their biggest issue. Because then teams are going to be able to tee up on Drake May a little bit more, and we both know as the season gets older, later, and teams start getting a little bit more desperate, the true teeths of a defense start coming out and coordinators start calling plays that you haven't seen all year and start putting things on tape that you didn't know they could do because they were holding it. They were waiting until they had to use it, and that's going to start showing, and that'll be interesting to see if Drake May can continue the ascension or if he plateaus a little bit. If he plateaus a little bit, Patriots aren't going to be one of those 11 teams that we talked about earlier.
Right.
They're going to be on the outside looking in. It'll be 10 teams kind of thing. So, yeah, I mean, it would be hard pressed to not say he's the best in that draft class. The thing is, Jaden Daniels is still in that class. And if we're being honest, Bo Nix is leading all of them in just about every major category. So while Drake May looks good, I think you could very easily argue what both of those guys have outside of Terry McLaurin, their weapons are all pretty equal. So the fact that all three of them are doing basically what they're doing, and you've got Caleb Williams on the outside obviously looking in, still trying to figure some things out. Now, that's through no fault of his own. What he went through last year is a whole lot more than what anybody else went through last year. You did expect to see a little bit more growth than what you've seen, though, especially with Ben Johnson as the head coach and some of the things that you were hoping would come with that. Chicago still looks very dysfunctional on offense. And they could do one drive where you're like, oh, my God, that's going to be a 5,000-yard passer, and there's 2,000-yard receivers, and here's a 1,000-yard running back at tight end. Oh, my God. And then the next four drives, you would be like, what? These guys were drafted? You're like, yeah, actually pretty highly. They're pretty good players, actually. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Caleb Williams just yet. I think it's way too early to even come close to calling him a bust. I think he still shows a lot of really good potential and a lot of really good things. But compared to those other three right now, I mean, I don't think you could even argue that he's not on that same level.
Right. I just think he's in a bad situation. I don't know if he fits what Ben Johnson likes to do. I don't know if he can get rid of that hero ball mentality. Just take what defense is giving you. He's just not that guy. I still think he's going to be a good quarterback. I just don't know if he's going to reach the level of the hype that he was at coming into the league. So we'll see. Who else? Penix, to be determined.
I got a little side note take on that. Is there a more disappointing situation in the league right now than the Atlanta offense?
Oh, no. I don't think so. Like, there's no reason why they're not scoring 24 a game at least.
Minimum, right? I heard it's Skorenik. Is that the offensive coordinator?
No. I think it's Zach Robinson.
Zach Robinson. He at some point, and this is a direct quote from him, so feel free to go find it yourselves. But he apparently at one point started talking to defensive coordinators and heard a bunch of them basically all say the same thing, that the pistol was like the hardest thing for them to figure out and defend. He built his entire offense around the pistol formation. And that is what they run 70% of the time.
Right.
I think defenses have figured it out. To the point where Kurt Warner has said the hardest film he has to watch right now is the Atlanta offense because it is so boring and predictable. Dude, there is no way all those supposed weapons are busts. There's no way. There's no way. So then you have to say the play calling is trash. You have to. That's the only other explanation for it.
Bro, they got beat. They got shut out against the Panthers defense. And they got just whooped by the Dolphins defense, who gives up running yards all day. Makes no
I
sense.
can't believe with those running backs, with that tight end, with the wide receivers they have, that Michael Penix can't throw some balls to people and move the football down the field. We watched him do it at Washington. I don't see why he couldn't do it in the NFL unless the play calling is so bad it doesn't give the offense to be productive. So when it comes to Michael Penix, I would have him on a different level and category altogether than Caleb Williams. Because while he's had the consistency and he's had the opportunity, he's got some weapons. If your coach is terrible, you're never going to overcome that. We watched that with Caleb Williams. But we believe Caleb Williams is in a situation now where he should be growing and learning. Penix is still in a situation where you're like, dude, we're still running pistol. And the defensive coordinators keep telling my offensive coordinator it's the hardest offense to defend, and he believes them. And so we keep running it, and it's not working. So I don't know what to make of that situation. Kirk Cousins got brought into play. It feels like coaches are trying to do things to keep their job right now instead of long-term future success. I think the OC needs to go. That needs to be the first move, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to have too much longer because they're just bad on offense, and they shouldn't be.
Bad.
Drake London, Bijan. I know Penix was hurt, so they had to play Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins is kind of a statue, but you telling me that Bijan couldn't get more than like 20 yards rushing against the Dolphins? That makes zero sense.
No sense.
So, yeah.
And then the sixth guy, J.J. McCarthy, looks like he's coming back this week.
We should start to see some a good sample size from him. See what he can do. If he has to play well for them. I mean, Carson Wentz is done now. Like, he's done. He's got to play well.
He's got to stay on the field to finish out the second half of the season, and he's got to show more consistent flashes. Absolutely. Otherwise, I mean, think about the epic mistake they made With the way Sam Darnold's playing right now, with the way Indiana Jones is playing right now, you had both of those guys in the building last year.
Man, that's a harsh reality.
Dude.
That's a harsh reality.
So
again, you've got Addison, you've got Jefferson, you got Hawkinson, you got Aaron Jones. Like your offense is there to compete with the big boys.
However, something I said last year, and people still wanted to say it was my boy Sammy. Now people are saying it's not. Although they don't want to say it wasn't Sammy's fault. They still want to blame Sammy. But I've been hearing some rumblings of Minnesota arguably having one of the, if not the worst offensive line in the league at this point in time.
It's not great. It's not great,
and
Bob.
It's the same thing they had last year, and they didn't do a whole lot to address it or fix it, basically.
Well, their O-line is almost all dependent on their left tackle, Darashaw. When Darashaw's healthy and in there, they do okay. When he's not in there, it's rough.
So, you think back to that, and then you're like, damn, Darnold was able to do what he did with this offensive line, so he made him look better. But now you're going to bring, lack of a better way, a rookie, second year, but first year starting back with McCarthy, off an injury, trying to make a playoff run. Right now, even with all that talent and that defense and Flores running that unit, it looks like this is going to be one of those teams that does the flip-flop and was in last year and is out next year. So, I'm very interested to see what J.J. McCarthy does because I've said it a bunch of times. I can't imagine Kevin O'Connell and that front office moving on from Darnold if they didn't truly 100% believe J.J. McCarthy could do the same thing. Now, does that mean this year? Maybe not. We would have liked to have think so, right? But you got to believe that that's the only reason they let Darnold walk. It's not because they drafted him early. It's not because it's saving him money. It's not because – no, because I think true organizations in the NFL have proven they're more than willing to prove on from somebody if it is about winning. If it's truly about winning, you will move on, and you'll do it in a hurry. There's a reason the Cardinals moved on and the ownership was willing to allow the new coaching to dump the first-round quarterback they had the year before and draft a new one with the first overall pick. There is a reason Cleveland's owner said, go get Deshaun Watson. I don't care what it costs. There is a reason Sean Payton convinced the new ownership to pay a bunch of money and dump Russell Wilson. Okay? That position matters. And so when people make decisions, and it's people that I believe are truly good at what they're doing, which I've made very clear I don't think is as high a percentage in the NFL as people want to believe, then I do believe that player is going to be a good player. So I still am very interested to see what J.J. McCarthy does. He did show some flashes in that fourth quarter. Notice how I said that fourth quarter. But even that, he did show some flashes. So
he's played like 8 quarters of football, and only one of them was good.
Yeah. But can they build on that? Can he learn? Can he start seeing the field? Can the game start slowing down a little bit? Can Kevin O'Connell start drawing up some plays that put him in good? I don't know. I think that's the biggest question mark out of all of them right now is McCarthy in Minnesota.
Last thing to mention on the sophomore quarterbacks, we just got to throw it out. Bo Nix is leading the overall touchdowns by a wide margin right now.
Like I said, he's leading almost every major statistical category, if I remember correctly.
He is. And in fact, I think he's top 3 quarterback touchdowns, overall touchdowns this season of everyone. So we're getting some good football from Bo Nix. It's fun to watch. These young quarterbacks, when they get rolling, Drake May's rolling, Bo Nix is rolling. Caleb's got the Bears competitive. Jaden can, although we talked about Washington having a little bit of a down season this year just because they just don't have a lot around him. They overperformed last season.
Mm-hmm.
They raised those expectations last season. So let's move on to baseball real quick. You talked about one of the greatest games there's been. Now, I got an issue with like a great game is when it's kind of back and forth. Like they didn't like it was 5-5 and then they didn't score again for like 10 innings. So
Which, like, the intensity and the drama, there was bases loaded multiple times. There were balls hit to the track where you're like, dude, it was epic. Epic. Ohtani went 4 for 4 from the plate and reached base 9 times, Pinky. 2 home runs, 2 doubles, and they walked him 5 consecutive times in extra innings.
which that was
because
smart.
They're like, never mind, we're not doing anything. Just go stand on first base.
Take your base.
And he's pitching tonight. Now, he didn't pitch great, but he also didn't pitch terribly. He only allowed 2 runs in 6 2/3.
I know it's 4-1 Blue Jays right now. And
Boom.
I'm digging it.
So Ohtani might be credited with some more runs since I last was paying attention. Looks like the Jays could tie this up. That would make it very interesting, 2-2.
That's what we want, man. We want Game 7. We want Game 7.
I love Game 7.
Especially
We love 2 best words in sports. Game 7.
When you don't have a dog in the race, we're not Dodgers fans, we're not Blue Jays fans. At the end of the day, you just want to see good baseball. You know, a good.
I am an Ohtani fan, though.
I mean, we're all Ohtani fans. If you're not an Ohtani fan, are you a Nazi? Like what's going on?
Yeah, that's a good
Ohtani's
point.
awesome.
Well, wouldn't Nazis like the
They would.
Japanese, though, historically speaking?
They thought the Japanese were less than. They just wanted to make sure that they could get them to do what they wanted to do.
We shouldn't be joking to such things.
I didn't say it was true. That's how the Nazis feel about everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, they would have eventually wiped him out too. I just like he's so good, and I enjoy watching him so much that the more he wins, the more the claim to greatest player ever just continues to grow, and that aura and that mystique and that legacy, and I like that kind of thing, especially when it's happening in our lifetime, and I get to see that. You know how we feel about greatness. We talk about greatness all the time. Love it or hate it, respect it when it's here and enjoy it, because things like this do not come around all that often. They're called generational talents for a reason, right?
Right.
So I am rooting for the Dodgers. I do have a dog in the fight, but I'm good with 7 and the Dodgers winning. But that means they have to do it in Toronto.
We'll see. They're getting raced right now. It's 5-1.
If they don't win tonight,
6-1.
They don't have a chance to close out at home. So they would have to win in Toronto. 7 games looks kind of likely right now. But 18 innings last night, Pinky. 18 innings. I think it was something like 7.5 hours. They played 2 full games.
That's way too effing long.
2 full games. And they weren't quick games. There was a lot of hits. There was a lot of base running. I told you what Ohtani did. The fact that they're able to walk him because Mookie Betts isn't hitting well is absurd. You're talking about an MVP and a Hall of Famer. But look, there's Mr. October, Reggie Jackson. There's Mr.
Ohtani.
November, Derek Jeter. I heard somebody say it. I will piggyback it, and I will try to champion this with them. Mr. World Series is Freddie Freeman. That man's got a grand slam walk-off home run and another walk-off home run. What is tied for the longest game in World Series history. And what I believe is hard to argue that it's not the greatest game in World Series history right now. He ends that. So, are you kidding me? That's crazy. And the Braves let him walk when he wanted to stay in Atlanta.
Mistakes were made.
Dude, decisions by franchises sometimes are wild.
Let's see. We wanted to touch on UFC. So there was a big fight this weekend. try and reestablish the heavyweight division.
Why? I'm sorry to anybody out there that feels the need to say anything negative about Tom Aspinall in this situation. I don't understand it. Did somebody do something illegal to him that impaired his vision? Was it obvious to everyone that what that person did that was illegal was very intentional? And then we're going to rule it a no contest? What? Why?
According to Aspinall's dad, he still can't see.
If you watch, dude, anybody that watches the slow motion, I don't know how you can sit there and go, yeah, Aspinall should have started fighting again. Gagne dug his fingers into his eyes, knuckles deep, and then clawed. Knuckle deep, straight claw, swipe. I'm not going to fight after that. They were not glancing blows by any means.
He's trying to get you with the Aqib Talib.
Dude. The Three Stooges performed it kinder than what Gagne did to Aspinall. And then you got people like, oh, this is the dude that you said was going to beat Jones, and this is the guy Jones is ducking. And was he getting lit up a little bit before those eye pokes? Yeah, I'm not going to deny that. Would have that round ended and I would have given the first round to Gagne? Yeah, absolutely. Do I think that means Cirio was going to win that fight? No. Not even close. How many times do we see a fight where it comes out lopsided one round, not the way you expected it, and then the next 2 or 3 or whatever many rounds go the exact way you expected it, and the fight ends the way you expected it in a dominant fashion?
Right.
All the time in the UFC. That happens all the time. And people are acting like because Gagne might have won the first round, this was some kind of shocker. What am I missing, Pinky?
So, yeah, it's crazy. Dana White says he wants to run it back as soon as possible. So we'll have that rematch soon.
If I'm Aspinall, I'd have in the contract, eye poke is millions to me. Every eye poke. Not playing. I would have it in my contract. Every time you eye poke me, we're going to count it. It's going to be on video. That's millions out of your purse. So keep your fist closed or lose all your money that you win. That is, what else can you do? The UFC is not going to, deduct points and stop the fight and call you the loser because of it. What other sport do you know that somebody's going to do something like that to that extent? That's not a little illegal thing. It's not like a minor penalty in hockey for hitting somebody's stick or hooking them. Right? That's like a major, double major where you get kicked out of the game kind of thing for slamming somebody into the boards, into their back and stuff. It's a big deal. And then you're talking about not just playing a sport, but you're talking about a combat sport and you wanted him to keep fighting? Oh, man, I didn't realize this was the Kumite. Appreciate you got that reference.
I did. My buddy actually sold a life insurance policy to Frank Duke.
Shit.
It was like a month or 2 ago. Yeah, he had called in and got a policy. So
Frank Dukes is still alive?
Yeah, man. He is still going strong. Still going strong.
All right. But yeah, I'm bewildered that there's people out there who are like, he should have fought even though he couldn't see. Sometimes it's just what you got to do as the champ. No, it's not. No, it absolutely is not. Hey, let me just close my eyes and walk in here and see what kind of spirit I can feel. No.
Hey, Frank Duke, man, put the blindfold on and let the thing. Make it happen.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Another quick one. Let's talk some F1.
Yo.
Max Verstappen.
Okay. Two things. One, F1's got to do something about this. Like, the race is basically a race to turn one. Because what we saw this weekend in Mexico City, like, I don't know how Max wasn't penalized for that. My man took the scenic country route past turn one, and turn two, and turn three. Like, I'm just going to take the grass over here and cruise right on down to the straight. Hamilton did something crazy later, and I don't remember, turn 4 or 7 or whatever it was.
He got a 10-second penalty.
He got a 10-second penalty for it. But if it happens on turn 1, apparently it doesn't matter. And I love Max, so I got no issues there. But for them to go 4 wide the way they did, and you saw him go off, Leclerc went off. Leclerc was like, I'm just going to go out into first, and then I'll let people pass me back. I'll just nicely give the spots back.
So
crazy there.
As a F1 newbie, just gradual fan, newcomer, like, the one thing about, like, every race I've watched, like, the top 3 guys from the start of the race are the top 3 guys at the end of the race.
That's the second point. We need, like, you got to change the cars. You got to do something as the sport moves forward, because I want to see people passing people during a race.
Right. To me, there was nothing. If you don't have a driver you are rooting for, watching an F1 race is boring as hell.
It very easily could, yeah.
Because
I'm invested in the sport this year without a team, I have reasons that I'm kind of learning a lot and kind of gauging everything. So there's reasons I'm invested. But if Cadillac wasn't coming to the grid next year and I didn't pick a team and I didn't have a driver, I would struggle to be as invested next year as I am this year, for sure. I agree with that.
I just root for Lewis Hamilton because he's a Broncos owner.
He is.
So
I'm a big Lewis guy because of that as well.
Easy thing to do. And I watch and I'm like, okay, so I'm always constantly watching for Lewis to move up a spot, or, can he make a podium or all that? And every time I watch, he's moving up or down based on what's happening. But the top 3 to 4 guys are the top 3 to 4 guys at the end of the race. That is horribly boring.
Yeah, I agree. I fully agree with you, Pinky. Let's be honest, to the point where, and I don't even know how it happens. I truly don't. Lando won by like 28 seconds. 28 seconds? And then everybody behind him was actually fighting for position. And had we not getting a virtual safety those last 2 laps, there's a good chance Verstappen would have passed Leclerc for second. I mean, there were some battles going on until that virtual safety car came out those last 2 laps. So how did he get so far out ahead? I don't understand it. What's even wilder, and it leads to everybody with their conspiracy theories within McLaren, and you're either a Lando or a Piastri guy, Lando or Oscar, Norris or Piastri, whatever you want to call it. Piastri struggled. His car didn't look nearly as dominant as Lando's. So then that brings out those conspiracy theories that McLaren does really, truly favor Lando. And that was obvious because look what he did this weekend. Nobody's ever won by that much this season. It was by far the largest margin of victory for the season. Maybe Lando is just a better driver. And so if he gets clean air and he doesn't have to fight anybody, he can truly milk the tires. He can do what's necessary, and he can truly start putting some gaps on people. Maybe the conspiracy theories are true. Maybe McLaren did do something to his car that was different than Piastri's. I don't know. 28 seconds is absurd.
That's
absurd.
It's crazy.
He was a full pit stop plus ahead of the field. My man could have gone into the pits, changed all 4 tires, even though he didn't have to, and he was still 8+ seconds ahead of the next closest driver. And 8 seconds is an absurd amount of time to be leading. So I don't know. You're right. I don't know what to think there, Pinky. But something needs to be done. And hopefully the changes coming next year, along with future potential changes, will help with that. But it would be nice to see more battles and passes and overtakes and retakes during the race.
From a new casual fan, if they want to grow the sport, grow the audience like they're trying to do, they've got to make it more. There's got to be more intrigue and more, more things that happen. Because again, most time it's like, well, this guy got a 10-second penalty at the beginning. Oh, he's done. Like, we just know he's not finishing above 9th. Oh, this guy did this. Oh, he started in the back of the pack. He ain't making it up to the 5th or 6th spot.
Right.
Like, he's going to be in the back of the, like, they just don't really change position enough from what they start at. So why are we watching?
It's true. You're basically just watching another qualifying or a practice or whatever you want to call it. And that is still one of the reasons I love watching NASCAR. And I'm not going to say one's better than the other. I see the beauty to both sports as I learn about them more, and I truly do enjoy both. But they are very different. Very different.
Mm-hmm.
NASCAR rubbing is racing. And there is expectations that you're going to get past a bunch. And then you're going to pass a bunch of people a bunch. And you're going to switch spots. And you're going to have people drafting with you and working with you that aren't even your teammates just to try to get through the field. And you don't see anything close to that in F1. So it'll be interesting to see how the sport grows and moves forward, especially with them adding Cadillac to the grid. And, I'm sure there's going to be more that get added as the years go by here. So what does that look like? Do they start making the cars smaller and smaller to the point where we're almost looking at go-karts going 180?
That's not. That's not.
It would be sick, wouldn't it? I mean, making the cars small enough to allow room to actually pass. Because right now the cars are, 100 feet long and 30 feet wide, and doesn't matter how big the corner is, nobody can get past anybody. You only see passes on straights. So I like that. I agree with you. Cheers, my good man. Again, a lot of wild things going on, but Norris wins, takes a 1-point lead over Piastri for the Drivers' Championship. And I still don't see a clear winner between him, Piastri, and Verstappen. Max was about to finish second, it looked like, in a situation where he looked like he was still trying to get his car to do things he didn't want to do. And he still finished third. If Piastri can qualify that low and then finish the race 5th, I believe he was. I believe he finished in 5th. That, to me, says the same thing could happen to Lando. And then, to me, again, it says, well, why couldn't that happen to both of them on the same weekend? Which then opens the door for Max to jump right in there and be right back in everything. So, wide open between the three again. I think it's a very interesting situation. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't see any favoritism within McLaren. The papaya rules or whatever people want to call it. They're racing. And one of them had a really good weekend and one of them didn't. And that's all it is. And let's see what happens the next, 5 races left? 4 races left?
4.
4
races.
So
yeah. They got Brazil, Vegas, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi.
Okay. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see how the season ends. I think strategy is going to be a huge thing, a very huge thing. You saw a lot of interesting things this week with the soft tires and the medium tires to start the race and how that affected people. The number of pit stops, when you're pitting. You look at Mercedes possibly making a huge mistake in waiting too long to allow Russell to switch spots with Kimi, which may have cost them an opportunity to take over Bierman and get some points there. So, chaos, man. chaos is reigning supreme right now, and it seems like there's a lot of it going on with people very unsure of how they want to move forward into the new season, which, I mean, kind of makes sense considering there's a lot of changes coming next year.
All right. Let's chop a little bit of NBA and then maybe some nonsense.
Okay.
So
before I jump into what I'm kind of thinking already with the NBA, very early in the season, we're 4 games in, like stupid to even think there's anything that we can pick from this as projecting out into the season, but I'm going to, because this is what my mind does this no matter what. After one game, Pinky knows he's had to listen to these group chats. Ask him what happened in Nathaniel Hackett's first game with the Broncos.
He was donezo.
I was done on drive 1, okay? And I told him exactly why, and I projected this bitch out. I tell you, it's just what I do. I can't help it even if I don't want to do it. But before I give you things I've been kind of seeing, and I've kind of already told you, I'd like to get your thoughts. Just this early in the season, you being, I don't want to say a new NBA fan, but you're new-ish to truly starting to understand the game better to the point where you can kind of see things that a basketball player could talk about. I think you're finally kind of in those conversations now when we talk. What are you kind of picking up on in this very early season?
Well, I mean, first of all, Wemby's a freaking monster.
Yeah.
Like that time off must have been good because he is crushing it right now. If you had an MVP race after 4 games, he's boom, got it, done.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, he's looking really good.
If you're talking about after just the 4 games, now again, we got a lot of games to go.
I think there's another big man in the league that has done enough after 4 games to be right there with him again, and people are trying to give it to another big man already. They're trying to claim another big man over him already, and I don't care how homer it sounds, okay? But when you're averaging a triple-double to start the season, I think there's a conversation that still needs to be had, okay?
And even Giannis is still
and Giannis. Yes.
Giannis is still Giannis. What I can say, at least from the early going, the stars are still the stars. Everybody is Steph Curry. Why does he hate the Nuggets? Actually, that one game. Most of the time, he's not had great games against the Nuggets over the last 2 seasons. But he decided game 1 of the season, like in the 4th quarter, it was just Steph Curry time. It didn't matter where he was on the court. He was just like, I'm going to throw this up. It's going to go in your face. I got it. Steph Curry's awesome. Giannis, Joker, SGA, the free throw merchant. Like, God, I just can't stand watching SGA games. I just can't do it. I really can't. Like the fouls they call are so awful.
It's gotten to a Harden-esque level now for me, and I start losing respect in those situations. I really do. And those are the kind of guys I hated playing with growing up, whether it was, real games in competitive leagues or if it was just pickup ball. Like, those are the kind of guys that they don't make the game fun. And I'm sorry, the more I watch SGA and you look at the numbers, the dude outside of 20 feet is not a good shooter on a consistent basis. And defensively, I don't know if he's trying to save his game for offense now, but he's not playing 2 ways the way he has in the past. But the free throw things are just the way he's drawing fouls are not part of the game. They're not within the flow. They're not basketball moves, and then the refs are giving it to him, and that's a problem.
The
NBA changed the rules because of Harden, because they realized how wrong they were about the way they were letting him get away with things, and the refs were calling it. So they changed the rules. he's doing almost the exact same things that Harden was doing that they changed the rules for. And I don't like it. Because you're not really getting fouled. So you shouldn't be getting those calls. What you should be getting is a travel violation, a double dribble, more missed shots.
Offensive foul.
Yes, offensive fouls. It's an ugly brand of basketball the way he started the season as far as I'm concerned. And I hate saying that because he's really talented and gifted. And he has put up a 50 burger and everything else. But, dude, when you shoot, 24 free throws in one game? That something's not right. Okay? Nobody should be shooting. That's what a team should be shooting roughly. If they're taking it to the hole a lot during the game, should be shooting as a team, not one individual player. Especially when he's not really taking it to the hole. He kind of meanders and slowly gets to a spot and then forces a foul from somebody. Now, to his credit, there's a lot of bad defense being played. And so there is a lot of fouls. I just don't think it's as many as he's been gifted, and I don't like the way he's going about it as a whole. And I don't like saying that because I do think SGA is really talented, and I do think he's a good player.
It's hard to watch. I agree with that completely. And the Thunder, they're a good team.
Yeah.
They're a good team that I'm like, hey, as a good team, I want to pay attention. I want to watch. But every time I'm watching SGA go to the hole and he like runs into the defender and then they call a foul, and I'm like, no, the defender's set. He's right there. They're in good position.
Yep.
And SGA just kind of comes in and gets a hold and throws it up. And it's like, that's not a foul. That's an offensive foul. But it is what it is. It just it's kind of like watching LeBron. Like once LeBron gets anywhere near the hole, it's like you sniff LeBron, they call a foul on you. Like that's how frustrating it is to watch.
There's a little bit of a feel of that going on, unfortunately.
But, the stars are out in the first week of the NBA season. Luka, Giannis, Wemby. Wemby's just crazy. Joker, Jamal's playing good. Like Aaron Gordon had one of the most efficient 50 burgers of all time. Like, and they lost.
They did.
Because Steph Curry was like, okay, Aaron, I got you. I got you.
Free throws is what I was going to talk about, along with fouls and points. We've had, was it 6 or 7 50 burgers already put up to start the season? 5 to 7? I can't remember the exact number right now.
I'm going to have to look. I don't know if that's right.
SGA's got one. Luka's got one. Aaron Gordon's got one. Austin Reeves just put one up.
That's probably the most shocking one.
I told you to pay attention to that last year.
Although I know Luka and LeBron were both out, so like somebody had to pick up the slack.
Yeah, but you don't put up a 50 burger unless you can ball in the league. I told you he's an underrated good third option in this league, and you guys laughed at me last year. You don't put up 50 in this league unless you can play. Period. You don't.
We got Shea, AG, Austin Reeves, and Lauri Markkanen.
I thought Luka put one up too.
Mm-mm.
Was Luka's 49?
Just 4.
Could have sworn Luka had a 50.
49.
It was 49. Okay. My bad. So it's still, we're having an output of scoring early. I'm interested to see how this plays out long-term in the league, because what I thought I saw happening last year was a bit more defense being played and a bit more teams going to team ball and not just ISO and that's your offense with your best player. I'm still believing that because some of the 50 burgers you saw were very much not ISO, but it was guys doing it within the flow of the offense, including Austin Reeves. But that leads into my actual projecting out here. We're going to see some guys break out this year And it's not they're going to be surprising, but it's not going to be fluky. It will be you can trust this long term. I haven't quite decided all of who those guys are and if they quite count as breakouts per se either. Paulo Becerra being up there, but he missed a lot of time last year with his abdominal injury. Cade Cunningham, but you could have said he broke out last year potentially. Wemby, because as far as I'm concerned, he hasn't broke out yet, truly. And I think we're starting to see that. Austin Reeves, I've kind of told you about, and I think people need to pay more attention to him as that third option. Jamal Murray, if he stays healthy for a full season and his legs are back, which it's kind of looking like they might be to start the season, Aaron Gordon looks like he's taking another step forward. There are some candidates going forward right now. That's just a few of them. There's some candidates going forward right now that I'm very interested in. Evan Mobley in Cleveland. Are they going to take that next step? What do they look like? Are they the one that breaks out? Is that who we're talking about as the most improved? Or somebody jumping in the MVP conversation that we didn't quite expect? When we were talking to Greg, I mentioned Wemby in the MVP, and he scoffed at that. Still unsure why. But
probably youth. You know how there's the old heads, and like he might have the stats to put him in that conversation. But
start listening to me. Greg scoffs at me a lot, but my track record speaks for itself. Look, I said Jason Tatum was the most inconsistent superstar in the league. I think that's kind of proven out true. I said pay attention to Cade Cunningham. Wemby, I like being able to dissect and pick out some talent. In basketball, I feel like I'm better at that than any other league. Wild, huge miss on Scoot Henderson, so don't listen to me all the time, maybe. Because I said I'd probably take him over Wemby in the draft, but that's because I'm a big point guard guy, and Scoot showed me some things I thought were going to be transitioning well into the league right away. And he's, as far as that conversation is gone, he's been a giant bust. I also said Wemby would probably still be a generational talent, so it wasn't like I said Wemby was going to be a bust by any means. I just made a 1983 draft level error in not choosing Michael Jordan. So apologies. But yeah, like what you're seeing from Wemby right now is exactly what I expected to see as far as the next jump. But then you look at the talent around him, and they finally have some guys around him that can play. Castle and Harper and some of those other key slots that they put in there with Fox, I was going to say last, because I think he could be the biggest key to Wemby's success this year. De'Aaron Fox is an underrated point guard in this league. He can score, he can assist, he can run the break, and he can get microwave hot at times. He's lanky, and he can disrupt on defense. He's like the perfect co-star next to what Wemby can do, because he's willing to play all over the floor at a high, fast pace, and that's really what Wemby likes to do. Because when Wemby gets in the half court right now, he still gets a little stagnant, and that kind of becomes his Achilles heel right now. And it'll be interesting to see what happens as you get, deeper into the season, even the playoffs, if they make it there, when teams can really start focusing in on those things and they can start zoning in on shutting one guy down. The ability to have a De'Aaron Fox next to Wemby is what's going to be so key to whether or not he can stay in, 6 seed long term for the season aspect.
Yeah, I mean, the Spurs look good. I think they could be, 4, 5, 6 seed right in there so far. It's early, though.
They're 4-0 right now, right? So West is loaded, but if the West can't stay healthy, the Lakers, Golden State, I say Golden State could do some damage this year. They're looking like that's going to be true, but again, they got to stay healthy.
Yeah,
the Nuggets do have to stay healthy. The teams. Anthony Edwards is out right now for the Timberwolves. That plays heavily into the hands of San Antonio and Oklahoma City, because they're both
But-
such young teams.
But Wemby's got to stay healthy after last season, right?
He does. You're right. Wemby being the unicorn he is also that body type that a lot of people worry about being able to play a full NBA season, right? So
if I'm playing Wemby, I'm making sure to put bodies on him all game. I'm going to constantly body him, and I'm going to keep affecting his shot.
You're going to make him feel somebody on him all game, and that's just going to consistently wear him down. Absolutely. And can that body hold up to a full season then? That's going to be a big question. 100%, buddy. 100%. So that's one of my biggest things is just how that projects out with the free throws and the scoring and the defense or lack thereof right now. I actually think we see that kind of shift as the season progresses. And right now, the NBA, I would say opposite of what the NFL is. In the NFL, you usually see defenses come out and start the season fast and offenses struggle. I think the NBA is the exact opposite. And I think we're seeing that right now. And so it'll level itself back out. I would say by the time the Commissioner's Cup is raised in the in-season tournament, you will start seeing things revert back to where they need to be.
Nuggets got a rough draw on in the Cup tournament.
Gonna be tough. Good luck. Get it done.
I'm pretty sure they got the Spurs. I think they got the Rockets. NBA Cup bracket. Is that what we want to call it? Bracket?
That sounds right. Pools? They're pools.
Yeah. NBA Cup pools.
Groups?
Groups.
Groups. Because they're doing it like soccer.
Yeah, the groups. Yeah, here we are. Nuggets have the Warriors, the Rockets, the Trailblazers, and the Spurs.
That's a group of death group, dude. Legit. That's
like OKC has the Suns, the Jazz, the Kings, and the Timberwolves.
The fuck?
The other one, the West B, is the Mavericks, the Clippers, the Lakers, the Pelicans, the Grizzlies.
That's Lakers, Dallas. If Dallas is healthy, Dallas is another team that if they can get healthy, they can be really dangerous. But boy, they're struggling.
Like the East is pretty distributed fairly well. The West C, man,
that's a group of death. That's a group of death. That's
screwed.
So let's see what happens. I think I will also say that I'm interested to see who the next breakout is going to be. And I've got some names. I don't want to say anything yet because I don't want to. I just feel like my curse is too strong and it's too early.
Your curse is real strong.
I'm not a superstitious guy, but there's been enough people tell me that I need to respect this, and so I'm going to try to a little bit more often. There is proven history and stats to back up these people's fears, and so I will try to respect that as of right now. But I'm very interested. There's a couple names out there that I am very key on to see how they play out the first half of the season. And then Cooper Flagg struggling a little bit to start the year. And I've heard some people say, oh, look at this. And I'm like, I don't care because you know why? This is exactly what happened last year with Duke starting the season. And he struggled to start the year.
I mean,
and by the end of the year, everybody's like, oh, my God, this kid can ball. This is just kind of how he does. Like, he's that guy that goes to a new gym because he knows he's not the best at this gym, and he was the best at his old gym, and he wants competition. So he moved on to the new gym, and he kind of feels the game out. The first couple runs, the first couple days. And then all of a sudden this new guy shows up and starts playing at a different level, and you're like, wait a second, he could do that? Okay, we got to start paying attention. I truly believe that's what you're seeing from Cooper Flagg right now. He's just kind of getting all that information. And no, he's not playing great, and I'm not going to try to sugarcoat like he is. But I think that's because he's the type of player who's so confident in himself that he's willing to go out there and do all the things that he knows either he can't do or that he can do at the level he believes he should be doing, and he's not scared to make a mistake doing it because he knows that mistake comes with growth. And once those things all click, you see something very special. And I think that's what you're seeing right now to start the season with him. Not to mention they're trying to play him at point guard, and he's not a point guard. But that's a different story. So, not worried. Long term, Cooper Flagg is going to be just fine. Still believe he could easily be the Rookie of the Year.
I mean, yeah. It's a long season. It's very, very early.
Yeah.
It's very early. So, all right. A little bit of nonsense. What do we got anything? We got 5 minutes.
I'm excited. I believe I saw next week Fantastic Four comes out. Okay. I know Robert's got it, but, I don't have time, to watch anything anyways. And so, no offense, Robert, but trying to go through the steps I have to pull your stuff up to watch, the wife looks at that as a mark in the negative column for why we should do something. It's like our time is so precious that it's so easy to throw a negative mark against something and put it aside and go on to the next thing. Like that's what happens. So as soon as it goes on Disney Plus, I feel like I can get her to finally sit down and watch that. So terrible.
With basketball, hockey, football, wrestling, I haven't even gotten a chance. Like if I don't go out to the movies, I haven't had time to watch a movie.
Dude, I haven't. I feel so bad because the wife originally said she wanted to watch Andor, then didn't, and then I should have just watched it originally with Robert so we could have talked about it. Now we're a year late. I still haven't seen it. Like I haven't found time to do that. I don't really know a lot of nonsense going on right now. I try to keep up with pop culture and stuff like that. I feel like I'm so far out. I don't know nothing.
I know the Predator movie's out next weekend.
Okay.
Which Robert and I will probably try to make a appointment to go see it when we get back from Seattle.
Okay.
The following weekend is The Running Man. That's what I'm excited to see.
The Running Man.
The Running Man. It's the remake of the.
No, that's already coming out.
November 14th. Yeah.
Oh snap! Okay.
I like Glenn Powell. He's fun. He's a cool actor. I like the idea. It's a little bit different than the original.
Okay.
With Arnold. The original I still like the original. It's fun. But
none of those 80s movies that we love hold up. But the nostalgia factor and the story behind it is so good that you can overlook terrible acting and awful CGI.
There's a couple that hold up. Back to the Future holds up. Like there's certain 80s movies that still hold up, but
I'll give you Back to the Future. I'll give you that one. But I'm talking about Running Man wasn't on the same level as Back to the Future. That's like
no.
That's like saying Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or Running Man was on the same level as the Kumite, as we mentioned earlier. It's that BC roles that we absolutely loved and Hollywood used to be known for, and people liked them. You knew the acting wasn't always going to be great, but you may like the actor. The story wasn't always going to be great, but it was going to be entertaining. Or maybe the story's really good and the special effects were awful, like Tron. Tron does not hold up at all, the original. But the concept and story is cool. Acting and CGI is terrible. It's that idea.
So I am hoping that the Running Man movie is better than what movie was it? Jackpot. So last summer, Jackpot came out on Prime. It's fun. It's a fun movie.
I don't remember that one.
It has the same concept. It's John Cena and Aquafina.
Oh, what?
And there's it's like in a no, it's basically kind of like in the future.
It's on Amazon. I'm gonna have to go watch this now. Okay.
Amazon.
See, all the B and C movies that I used to love that came out in theaters are all coming out on streaming now, and I don't know about any of them.
Right. So it's in the near future, a grand lottery has been established in California. Whoever you buy lottery tickets, and if you win, if you can stay alive, you get a multi-billion-dollar jackpot. If someone kills you and takes your ticket, they win. You have to survive to sundown.
Okay. Interesting.
And I like Aquafina. She's funny. And then
Yeah,
John
she's
Cena.
hilarious.
John Cena is basically like a guy that his job is like to try to protect these people. And if he keeps you alive, you split the money with him, right? So it's a funny concept. But the Running Man from the preview is almost the same concept, except for it's 30 days instead of the day.
Okay.
So he's got to stay alive for 30 days in the Running Man versus just staying alive.
We'll watch it. We'll watch it. We'll see what happens. Pinky, last thing before we do our final thoughts, in honor of Robert, because I know this is something he really wanted to talk about, but him being out, I said we should not have a conversation about this because I could not contribute anything to it. But I do want you to give what you believe to be the top 3 horror movies of all time. Pinky approved.
Oh,
yes.
Man.
I put you on the spot on purpose because I wanted it off the dome. I know you can't be held to this because you don't really get a time to think, but give me your top 3 right now. Go.
Poltergeist.
Okay.
That scared the shit out of me. I would say The Ring scared the shit out of me. I don't know if it's all time though, like scary movie. But it scared me. Oh, man, what's really scary? I don't know. I don't watch a lot of horror myself either. The wife's not into it. So if I'm going to watch it, it's got to be like 10 o'clock at night when she's already gone to bed. And then do I really want to stay up and watch a horror movie at that point? I'd rather watch wrestling or action or like.
Perfect. Robert, sorry, we tried.
You got to give me time. I got to think about which ones I have I actually. I haven't seen a lot of horror. I was always a Freddy Krueger guy.
All right.
I always thought like being able to manipulate someone's dreams was wild. And if you died in your dream, you died in real life. That was trippy to me. So Nightmare on Elm Street, any of them, was pretty crazy for me.
I could see that. Final thoughts, good sir, please.
I mean, I don't think we have a sports equinox going on in the next couple of days, but sports are fantastic. They're a great escape. Basketball's in full season. Hockey's in full season. And we've got the NFL. We got college football. We got wrestling. Anything you need, there is something going on. This is a great time of year.
I hope this gets clipped for us, Pinky. I hope Opus grabs this for us. I got 2 quick college things. The first one we'll talk about more, but there's not going to be a coaching carousel in college. There's going to be a coaching demolition derby. Backwoods, hardcore, good luck finding your guy. And I will say at the top of everybody's list that nobody seems to be talking about should be an assistant out of Ohio State, and his name is Brian Hartline. If you don't know, go figure it out, and figure it out very quickly because that dude's going to make somebody very happy, I think. Here are, in no particular order, in my opinion, the Heisman leaders right now. And all of these guys, if I had a vote, would say should be in New York and are all on equal playing fields right now. 2 of them are freshmen. Bachmeier out of BYU. Mestemaker out of Texas State or University of Texas. I think it's Texas State. I'm so sorry. I'm drawing a blank on that. I'm pretty sure it's Texas State. Freshman. He didn't even play a game, start a game, I should say.
What's his name?
Mestemaker. Mestemaker. Freshman. Texas State, I believe. Didn't even start a game his senior year in high school and is now second in the nation in passing. Then you got the usual names, Sayon, Simpson.
Hold on. That dude threw for 608 yards.
Yeah. Is it Texas State? Am I right?
It's North Texas.
North Texas. I knew it was Texas something. Yeah, dude, he's balling. As a freshman and didn't even start a game last year in his senior year of high school football. He's going to be making somebody very happy at a big program next year, I think.
Show me the money.
Incoming Indiana. So him, freshman. Bachmeyer, freshman out of BYU. I like both of them, and they're both balling. Both their teams are playing well. North Texas, I don't think, is ranked currently, but they only have one loss. And BYU is number 9 in the nation with one loss. So their numbers and their team's records back it up. I don't care what anybody says. Sayon out of Ohio State, Simpson out of Alabama, Mendoza out of Indiana, and Pavia out of Vanderbilt. I think all deserve, based on what they're doing for the season and their numbers, could be included in the conversation. Another name that I think a lot of people are saying is Haynes King from Georgia Tech. I think he very well deserves to be in the conversation. And my last name that nobody's talking about for whatever reason, but should be, is the quarterback from Ole Miss that I mentioned before, Chambliss. Should definitely be at that as well. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 8 names I have that all have very deserving and equal footings to be the Heisman winner this year as far as I'm concerned. On that note, Pinky, until next week, we cannot thank everybody enough for their likes, follows, shares, support in any way or kind. Please share us. Let us go viral. Come along for the ride. We're trying to change the way things are done a little bit. The way people converse and talk about and discuss and, do things. Do not take those moments with your inner circle, family, loved ones, friends for granted. Cherish those moments as much as you possibly can. Please do. We do. Robert, you're our boy. Love you, Blue. Next week, everybody. Peace.
Pinky in the building, reppin' orange and blue. Broncos country, yeah, you know how we do. Hot take so wild, you remember the name. From college ball to the pros, Caleb spitting game. Robert here, the pop culture plug. From comics to racing, pour the drink in the mug. Sports, nonsense and whiskey, yeah, bold talk. Good laughs and a glass in the air. Sports, nonsense and whiskey, right? Kick back, tune in, take a wild side stride.